Hello my lovely pen friends. Thank you for tuning in today. Today's video is another sort of unboxing. A lot of you will be familiar with this cardboard sleeve and those sorts of stickers. It is a Penbbs, and this is one of their newer models. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, I'm going to ink it, and we're going to do a little writing sample, see what happens. Okay, just before I actually do that, I do have one issue normally with the Penbbs pens, and this is an issue I am prepared for with this particular pen, and that is how they write. So I like the models, they work fine, just the actual nib on paper experience is not my favorite. So I am prepared for that with a contingency, if you will, with this, if it is something that needs to be rectified. So anyway, let's have a look. So this is the box. And I have here the Wingsung Penbbs 456, which is it's a vacuum filler pen. It's the first pen from Penbbs to have that filling system. So you can see it's a lovely model. I like the clip on this model. There are a few other videos of this pen already floating out there. Chris Rapp's version is awesome. His stuff's great. So check that out. Check out the others. If this is a pen you're interested in, or a model of pen that you might be interested in. So it's got a two-tone nib there, branded with Penbbs. And you know, it's a nice looking fine nib. If you look up close there, you can see it's slightly turned up, and I think that is what hampers my writing experience with this pen, is that the pen is just not particularly pleasant. Maybe it's just being a left-handed writer, I'm not sure. Anyway, this is the I can't remember the name of it, like the white acrylic or whatever it's called. I don't know if there's any label on the box there that, well, you can find that one. It's the 43SF Cloud. There we go. So yeah, this is that model, and I think it's a beautiful material. So slightly transparent, as you can see there. And as with all Penbbs pens, the build quality feels really nice. It's actually got a really lovely heft to it. This pen, it feels lovely sort of in the hand. It's a good size. Does it post? It posts. A little back heavy perhaps, but not so bad. So what I thought I would do today is ink this bad boy up. And I have here Lamy Turquoise, which I was hoping to use in this pen. There was something about, you know, clouds in the sky or something that I was thinking of when I first, as soon as I saw this pen, I was like, oh, I'll link that with, it was either going to be Lamy Turquoise or Iroshizuku Amairo, which are two of my favorite blues, are sort of that variety. So yeah, let's check this, let's ink it up. We'll do a quick writing sample, and we'll see how it goes. So, for those of you unfamiliar with how to ink up a vacuum filler pen, now there are several models that use this sort of filling system. Think of things like the Pilot Custom 823, also the TWSBI Vac and Vac Mini, and also even the power filling systems and things like the Visconti pens is basically a vacuum filler. So the idea is that you unscrew the knob on the end here, and you extend the rod, which goes down in, and I don't know how well you can see through there, there's like a little plunger in there. And as you depress this, it removes all the air, and there's a bit of resistance on there. And then it'll get to a point where it'll just pop. And once it pops, the air is released, and it sucks ink up through into the pen. That, of course, is when it's in the ink bottle. So let's do that now and see what happens. Okay, push it down. And if I take it out, I'll just give it a quick wipe down. Some paper towel here. You can see that there is some ink in the barrel there. Now that's not a complete fill, so I'm going to give it another go and see if we can get a bit more ink into this pen. Yeah, I won't go any further because then it becomes a lot of ink, and I change my inks a lot. But you can see there that there's a nice sort of amount of ink there in the barrel. I really do like this sort of semi-transparent material. I think it's really quite beautiful. So now that pen is filled, I will just pull up some Rhodia dot paper, and I might see if I can get us a little bit closer. So hold on to your hats, chaps. Just lowering the camera a little bit. Okay, there's a bit more fiddling around there than I wanted, so I will edit all that out. Here, as I said, we have the, actually I can close that off. The great thing about this, these filling systems is that you seal off a large portion of the ink chamber. So you get what's in the feed, and then that plunger locks down to stop ink sort of moving through, which makes them nice for flying and all of that sort of thing. You don't get that sort of air pressure change in the ink chamber, which is wonderful. So this is a fine. You can see there on the nib, it says Penbbs since, I can't quite make that out, I think it says 2005. It's quite a pretty nib, and then fine. So yeah, it's quite, can't make out what it says on the bottom there. China. So I like the Penbbs models. I think they're a nice looking pen. They feel nice in the hand. I've got 4 of them now, and a couple more coming. The one I don't have is the double-ended one. So watch the videos of that. I think that's the 469. It's a really interesting pen, so check it out and see if that's a pen that you're interested in. I am interested in it. It's just not a pen that I can sort of justify at this stage. I'm sure I will at some point. But anyway, let's talk about this pen. So this is the pen BBS 456. This is a fine steel nib. Okay, so it writes smooth enough, and it's certainly sort of wet enough. But as with these Penbbs nibs, they're just not, like, they're a little too fine for my taste. But also there's a little bit of sort of drag on the nib. It's hard to sort of explain, but it might just be because I'm left-handed, but I think a lot of other people have sort of mentioned this as well. In fact, if I just swap hands and do some terrible right-handed handwriting, around a tripod, it's still got that drag across the page, that sort of feedback that just isn't necessarily overly pleasant. So what I thought I would do is, I have here I believe this is a number 6 nib, and I have here a number 6 nib, which is just a Goulet nib. I think this is just a medium. If we can make that focus. And I thought I would just put that in this pen and see how the writing experience changes. So I'm not quite sure if I'll edit this out or if I'll just let it run. It'll all depend on how messy this process gets. So what I'm just going to do is put that down. Cup here just to balance the pen in when after I remove this nib section, nib and sec feed. Should just be a screw out. Yeah, okay, so I will pop that in the cup just so we don't lose all that ink everywhere. This is going to be messy, that's fine. It can be messy. Okay, so I've edited this a little bit. I had to use a grip to get the nib and feed out of the little section there. You can see here, there's like a nice little O-ring there and one here, which really helps seal off the ink chamber, so that we don't get ink leaking out of the pen, which is always really nice with these Penbbs pens, is that they are secure, and if any pen is going to be leak proof, Penbbs is probably one that will stand up there. Okay, so now just pop that all back in, line that up properly as best I can. A couple of those, just pop those back in, straighten. Okay, then I will take the pen and reinsert that into the section there. Ink everywhere, love it, love it. Okay, and let's see if we can just get this. I'll be back in just a second. I'll get this writing and we'll see about doing a writing sample. Okay, so here we are. I now have this writing, and I've got, as I said, the Goulet Penns Yovo nib, Goulet Penns branded Yovo nib in this Penbbs pen now. And as you can see, the original nib sort of sitting there, and straight onto the page. This writing experience is infinitely more pleasant. I prefer the width of this nib more in terms of the line width over the Penbbs model, but also it's smoother. It's not got that feedback. Sorry, technical difficulty. As I was saying, it is very smooth. Not as smooth as the Diplomat nibs can be. They tune their Yovo nibs very carefully, but this nib is nice and smooth. So for me, putting a nib like this on a pen like this, it does increase the price. Now in Australia, these pens do retail through places like eBay and Etsy for a little more than the standard Penbbs models. The new filling system does add a bit of extra cost. I think it was somewhere in the region of, I want to say, $40 to $50 for this pen. And then you add the Goulet nib, which is another $15 to $15 or so on there. So you are starting to make this pen not a cheap pen anymore. It's certainly not a Wingsung or a Jinhao or anything like that. But what you do get is you get a pen that is beautifully built with an interesting material. I really like this acrylic. I like the fact that it's sort of semi-transparent there. And with this nib, it writes beautifully. And because it is this sort of universal number 6 nib, you could get anything. You could put a Knox nib in there, you could put Schmidt, Bock, as I said, Yovo, and a lot of brands sell the Yovo nibs rebranded with their own sort of logo, like Goulet pens do. So they are widely available. You can get a lot more. You can get everything from the extra fines through the stub nibs. So it does open up a lot of options for you for a relatively small amount of money. And I think this nib in this pen makes this much more than the. Let's round it and say vaguely $60, $65 that this pen would have cost. So it's an interesting option. It's a lovely pen from Penbbs. I am really a fan of the model. I might do a review of this, but I thought I'd just sort of do this unboxing and show you what I've done with it, and hope that helps you and hope you find it interesting. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications button if you want to stay up to date with the videos that I produce. Please feel free to get in touch using any of the platforms listed below. Please feel free to drop me a message or find me on Instagram or Twitter at @the_offstage_me. I'd love to see what you're up to over there. If you've got products or that you think I should be looking at, or that you think might interest me, let me know. You can message me here or anywhere. Or if there's a way you'd like to support this channel, please get in touch and let's see what we can do. As I said, there's a lot of pens I would like to review, and I'm looking for product sponsorship. So brands and other ways of sponsoring the channel, there's a video on how you can do that here on my channel. So find that if you would like to support the channel and see what we can do in 2019. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you later.